A lot of people think they have a money problem, but really they have a behavior problem. And I know that sounds harsh, but let's be honest. If more money automatically fixed your financial life, then every person with a bigger paycheck would be doing great. But they're not. You've seen it. People make more, spend more, stress more, and somehow still feel behind. Why? Because the real issue here usually isn't income first. It's insecurity, it's impulse, it's comparison, it's emotional spending, it's using money to patch feelings you never learned how to control. That's what keeps people stuck, not just bad math, bad patterns. And this is where people get themselves in trouble because they keep trying to solve a problem with external purchases. So in this video, I want to break down the psychology that keeps you poor, the behaviors underneath it, and what you actually need to change if you want to build real wealth instead of just looking like you're getting your life together. What's one thing you regret wasting money on because of emotion, impulse, or trying to impress somebody? Comment below. I think a lot more people deal with this than they want to admit. The reason this matters so much is because bad money psychology does not look dramatic at first. That's what makes it dangerous. It looks normal. It looks like ordering food because you had a rough day. It looks like buying new clothes because you want to feel more confident. It looks like upgrading your lifestyle the second your income goes up because you want proof that you're doing better. It looks like telling yourself you deserve it when really you're just trying to escape how you feel for a couple of hours. And this gets worse now because social media has completely warped how people think about money. A lot of people are broke in private and polished in public. They look rich, they sound successful, they know how to perform progress, but their actual financial life is weak. No savings, no investing, no peace, no control. Just payments, pressure, and image management. One person uses money to buy freedom, another uses money to buy attention. Those are two completely different lives, and most people don't realize they're choosing between them every single day. The fastest way to stay broke is to keep spending like someone who needs to be seen. The first behavior that keeps people poor is insecurity spending. This is one of the biggest ones, and most people will never admit they do it. They say they bought something because they wanted it, but if I'm being honest, a lot of the time they bought it because they wanted to feel like somebody. They wanted to feel more respected, more attractive, more successful, more interesting, more ahead. So they buy the shoes, the watch, the car upgrade, the expensive dinner, the better apartment, the tech they didn't need. And the whole purchase is really about identity. It's not about utility. It's about emotional compensation. That's the part people hate hearing. A lot of spending is not practical. It's psychological. You do not always buy because something improves your life. Sometimes you buy because you feel small, and spending gives you a temporary break from that feeling. For a moment, you feel upgraded. For a moment, you feel like you're catching up. For a moment, you feel like you matter. But then the emotion fades, the bill stays, and your future gets weaker because your money is being used to support an image instead of a life. And this is where people get themselves in trouble. They start performing success before they've actually built it. They want the visible parts of wealth without the invisible discipline that creates it. So now they've got the outfit, the phone, the weekend, the look, but no real financial base underneath any of it. And that creates a very ugly cycle because the more empty you feel internally, the more tempted you become to keep buying externally. If you want a simple fix for this, ask yourself one question before any non-essential purchase. Would I still want this if nobody saw it? That question exposes a lot because if the answer is no, then you're probably not buying value. You're buying validation, and if your spending is built around being noticed, your future will always be underfunded. The second behavior is emotional spending. This one is quieter, but it destroys people. This is the random online order after a stressful day. This is the food delivery because you feel drained. This is the I deserve it purchase after a bad week. This is boredom spending, frustration spending. This is using money like a mood stabilizer. The real issue here is that a lot of people do not have a spending habit. They have a coping habit. They've trained themselves to connect to comfort with consumption. So the second they feel stressed, restless, disappointed, or overwhelmed, they reach for something that gives them a quick hit of relief. Not because they need it, because they want the feeling that comes with it. That's why emotional spending is so dangerous. The item itself is almost irrelevant. The purchase is just the delivery system for the emotional effect, and the problem is, this creates a loop. You feel bad, so you spend. Then you feel guilty, so you avoid looking at your bank account. Then you feel behind, so you get more stressed. Then you spend again to escape the stress. That's how people slowly bury themselves without ever making one huge mistake. It's death by convenience, death by impulse, death by tiny emotional leaks that never stop. This is what keeps people stuck. They think they're treating themselves, but really they're calming themselves. And if you do that long enough, your money stops being a tool and becomes a reaction. That's a dangerous way to live because it means your emotions are running your finances. If I were you, I would start paying attention to what you feel right before you spend, not what you bought, what you felt. Were you stressed, bored, insecure, angry, numb? Because that moment right there is the real trigger. And one of the best fixes is simple. Put a 24-hour gap between the feeling and the purchase. Give the emotion time to die before your money follows it. Most bad purchases do not survive one honest night of waiting. The third behavior is scarcity thinking. And this one is tricky because it can actually look responsible on the surface. Scarcity mindset does not always mean reckless spending. Sometimes it looks like fear of investing, fear of taking any risk, fear of moving money, fear of learning, fear of making the wrong decision, so you make no decision at all. You hold on to every dollar so tightly that you never actually build anything with it. A lot of people grew up around stress, instability, or financial chaos. So even when they start making a little more money, their brain still acts like disaster is right around the corner. They are in protection mode all the time. And I understand that. But if you never move out of survival mode, you will always manage money like someone trying not to drown instead of someone trying to build a future. This is where people confuse safety with stagnation. They think, at least I didn't lose money. But the whole point here is not just to avoid loss. The whole point is to learn how to direct money well. Broke thinking says don't mess up. Wealth building thinking says learn the game. Those are not the same thing. And let me be clear, I'm not telling you to be reckless. I'm saying fear can keep you poor just as easily as impulse can. Because when you're scared of every move, you delay everything. You delay learning, you delay investing, you delay improving your income, you delay building systems. Then 5 years go by and you're still waiting until you feel ready. Most people do not need more time. They need more courage and more structure. A simple fix here is to automate small amounts, not huge amounts, small amounts. Set up an automatic transfer into savings and an automatic transfer into investing, even if it feels tiny. Why? Because you're training yourself to stop seeing money only as something to protect. You're learning to assign it a job. And once you start doing that consistently, your relationship with money changes. You stop just clutching it. You start directing it. The fourth behavior is trying to look rich instead of trying to become rich. This one has destroyed so many people, it's not even funny. The second they start making more, they upgrade everything. Better car, better apartment, better clothes, better habits? Not really. Better systems? Not really. Better future? Not really. Just more expensive proof that they're doing okay. Let's be honest, a lot of people do not actually want wealth. They want the appearance of wealth with none of the discipline. They want to feel successful in real time. They want visible evidence that their life is improving. So they celebrate progress by increasing their bills. That is one of the dumbest traps people fall into. You've got two types of people. The first guy gets a raise and immediately expands his lifestyle. His rent goes up, his car payment goes up, his eating out goes up, and now his financial pressure just scales with his income. The second guy gets a raise and quietly increases his investments, his savings, and his margin. From the outside, the first guy looks more successful. 5 years later, the second guy has freedom. That's the difference. Rich looking and rich being are two different games. One is about attention, the other is about ownership. One needs to be constantly maintained, the other compounds in silence. And if you keep choosing visible upgrades over invisible strength, you will stay financially fragile no matter how polished your life looks online. The fix here is simple. Every time your income goes up, lock in a percentage of that increase before your lifestyle touches it. Do it immediately. Don't negotiate with yourself. Don't wait and see. Because once your standards expand, they rarely shrink. Lifestyle inflation is one of the easiest ways to make more money and still feel like nothing changed. The fifth behavior is self-sabotage through comfort addiction. This one is huge, especially for guys in their 20s. You make progress for a few weeks, maybe a few months. You start saving, you start being disciplined, you stop wasting money. And then the second things feel boring, tight, or uncomfortable, you reward yourself back into your old problems. That's self-sabotage. A lot of people say they want peace, but they're addicted to patterns that destroy peace. They want results, but they're emotionally loyal to comfort. That's why they keep restarting. They never stay consistent long enough for anything to compound. They keep interrupting their own momentum because discipline feels unfamiliar and comfort feels like home. This is deeper than money. Improvement sounds exciting until it starts demanding identity change, because now it's not just about spending less. It's about becoming a different kind of person. A person who delays gratification. A person who does not need rewards every time life gets hard. A person who can be bored without spending. A person who does not betray his future every weekend because he wants instant relief. That's hard for people. Because familiar struggle feels safer than unfamiliar growth. A lot of people would rather stay in a pattern they hate than commit to a standard that makes them uncomfortable. This is what keeps people stuck, not lack of emotional tolerance. So the fix is not to rely on motivation. Motivation is unstable. Build systems that make bad decisions harder. Remove your saved cards from your apps. Put limits on your spending categories. Automate transfers the day you get paid. Keep your investing and saving out of sight. Reduce friction for good behavior and increase friction for bad behavior. If your environment keeps making it easy to be your worst self, you will keep acting like your worst self. So if you want to actually fix this, here's the reset I would use. First, go look at your last 30 days of spending. Honestly, no excuses, no ego, no pretending half of it doesn't count. Just look at it, because until you face the truth, you will keep managing your money through stories instead of data. Most people are shocked when they see how much of their spending was not about need at all. It was about mood, boredom, convenience, ego, or image. Then I want you to label your non-essential spending, not with fake categories, with honest ones. Was that purchase about stress? Was it about loneliness? Was it about trying to keep up? Was it about wanting to feel more attractive, more impressive, more rewarded? You don't have to shame yourself, but you do need to tell the truth. Because once you can name the emotional pattern, you can finally stop acting like your money just disappears on its own. After that, separate useful spending from validation spending. This part matters. Some spending improves your life. Some spending performs your life. You need to know the difference. There's nothing wrong with enjoying your money. The problem is when too much of it is going toward being perceived instead of being secure. That's when you're funding your image at the expense of your future. Next, create friction before buying. This is big. Turn off one-click checkout. Remove your cards from shopping apps. Unfollow pages that constantly trigger you to spend. Stop browsing when you're bored. Give yourself a waiting period before any non-essential purchase. You need space between urge and action. That space is where self-control starts. Then automate the behavior you want. Saving should not depend on how disciplined you feel that week. Investing should not depend on whether you feel inspired. Set it up so the good decision happens before you get the chance to mess it up. That's how real progress works. Not through perfect willpower, but through smart systems. And finally, tie your money to identity. This is the part most people skip. Stop saying, I'm trying to be better with money. That's weak language. Start seeing yourself differently. Tell yourself, I'm the kind of person who does not need to look rich to feel secure. I'm the kind of person who keeps promises to his future. I'm the kind of person who uses money with intention. Because the whole point here is to stop treating money like a mood and start treating it like a tool. At the end of the day, most people do not stay poor because they never heard good advice. They stay poor because their behavior keeps overpowering what they know. That's the truth. You do not fix your finances by learning 10 more money hacks while your emotions still control your spending. You fix it by becoming someone who can handle money without using it for validation, escape, or comfort. Every time life feels heavy, you don't have a money problem, you have a behavior problem. And the good news is, behavior can change, but only if you're honest enough to look at it. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.